case. However, let's look at the contributors on the Nifty 50, because early on you had Reliance Industries that was contributing on the upside. It is still contributing, but to a lesser extent than HDFC Bank, and the Nifty Bank as a whole gaining about 0.7%. So there is strength that is building from the banking space. The fact that is not doing too well, let's pull up the auto index, because that index was down about 2% at the start, and it is currently off the low point, down about 0.8%. But individual names like Tata Motors, it has taken a bit of a drubbing, and it continues to be languishing in trade, down about 5% or so. And the reason for that, of course, is the latest tariff announcement. 25% tariffs going to be imposed on imported cars, automobiles into the US. And Tata Motors, of course, Jaguar Land Rover has 36% of its wholesale volumes that came through from the North America region in the third quarter. So that's seen as a negative. Anything else that's standing out to you?
Right, so a lot of counters that are in positive today. Capri Global continues to gain around 6% right now. There is Gujarat Pipavav that's gaining about 7% odd. Gujarat Alkali is also gaining about 6% odd. Neogen Software gaining about 5% odd. BSE Limited, on the back of announcing bonus shares that they consider on 30th of March, is around 6% up. There is Wellspun Corp, which is up by 4% odd. Sharda Energy also up by 4% odd. Bank of Baroda also leading with some gains. In terms of stocks that are not doing well, Kesoram again under pressure, down by about 10% odd. JB Chemicals down by about 6% odd. And this is on the back of a brokerage note, if I'm not wrong. There's Jayaprakash Associates, JW Holdings, Tata Motors, like Alex mentioned earlier as well, is down by about 5% odd. Sona BLW, Greenlam, Kaveri Seeds, all of these counters seeing pressure in trade today. So all of these counters are in focus, and of course the top gainers and losers, of course, on the NSE 500.
Okay, all right. So there you go. That's a snapshot of how the markets are looking right now. Let's get our experts on board so that they can start answering the questions that you have. Kush Bora, founder of kushbora.com, and Nirav Ashar, head of equity research and analysis at Latin Manhalal, joining us this morning. Nirav as well as Kush, thanks so much for taking the time. Kush, I'll come to you first. It is expiry day, and if you are a trader, what are the key levels to watch out for? Would you be venturing out and going long at this point, or would you still hold your horses and wait for the dust to settle, because the start was a little bit iffy?
Hey, hi Alex. First up, a very good morning. Hi, Nirav. It's just incidental that this morning we've initiated a long call on the 23,500 call that is expiring today. Around the levels of about 80 for the first target of 140 and the second target of 180. The first target's been hit. Just to say that this is the kind of conviction that we have in the move that has happened today. Now, what's happening is that the 23,600 mark is gaining a lot of traction in terms of the call writing. So that is something that to watch for. But what's also interesting is that the 23,500 put is also gaining traction. So that could very well be the range for the day. I think 23,500 is the pivotal point, give or take 50 points. I wouldn't initiate a long trade now. Because I think the bulk of the move is perhaps done, and as we are seeing the call congestion around the 23,600 mark, the risk reward ratio is no longer favorable. So hold your horses. Perhaps a trade missed early this morning, but that's all right. The markets are in a bit of a consolidative phase for the last 2-3 sessions. I think more upsides are in the offing in the next couple of days.
All right, so that's the view with respect to the levels to watch out for the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. Moving on to our first query for the day, Sunil from Mumbai is holding both Zomato and Swiggy. He's bought 900 shares of Swiggy at 450 a piece and Zomato at 262 a piece, and he's holding around 1,700 odd shares. And right now, his Swiggy loss stands at around 1 lakh odd rupees, and he wants to know what should be the next course of action for him. Nirav, I'll come to you. Yesterday, there was an interesting note that came out. And Macquarie had downgraded both of these stocks, saying that the competition is playing its part, plus the cash flows are not looking positive right now for both of these counters, and plus both of these counters will face profitability issues in the next few quarters because of dark store additions. What's your view, and which one is a preferred pick amongst the two?
Well, I think definitely the competitive intensity is quite high, and there are pressures as far as the cash flows profitability is concerned going forward. But considering the quantum of the loss, I think it is better to wait it out, at least from a medium-term perspective, and hope that things take a turn for the better. And at the same time, monitor the results, the forthcoming quarterly results, and the commentary. Particularly, that is going to be very important as far as both these companies are concerned. I think Zomato is looking a better bet at this point of time.
Okay. Any implications of the inflows expected, Neerav, very quickly on Zomato on account of the Nifty rejig?
Yes, I think it could have it could be a minor positive as far as the stock is concerned.
Okay. All right. We did tabulate that. I don't know if we have the data points. There was a Nuvama note on that, and we'll pull that up and show you what the inflows are expected to be. But in the meanwhile, let's take the next question. We've got Zen Technology that is in focus, and we've got Narendran, who's holding 1,000 shares at levels of 1,517, and he's asking what the forecast is on the stock. Should he hold or sell? He's not stipulated what his holding period is or his expected time frame. So, Kush, let me go to you on the charts. What is the view here?
So the stock shaping up rather nicely. I mean, you had a very good recovery from those 1,000 odd levels. The last three sessions that we are seeing is more of a profit booking after what a near 50% gain in just over a month's time. I wouldn't read too much into the profit booking session that's taken place or sessions that have taken place over the last 2-3 days. On the whole, the stock looks well poised. His buying price might be slightly higher, but that's all right. As I said, it's a bit of a momentum play. Now, the stop loss for this one comes in at 1360. That's a good level to place your stop loss at. On the upside, irrespective of the price that he's spotted at, 1580 is the first target, and once that is taken out, you're looking at a 1690 also, where the 200-day moving average resides. So for me, this is a very clear hold at the moment.
All right, so that's the view with respect to Zentech. The data that Alex was talking about with respect to the inflows for the counters that will be included in Nifty, and this will be Nifty rejig flows overall. Zomato is expected to have around $391 million of inflows. Geo Financials will have approximately $200 million. Indian Hotels will have approximately $800 million of inflows, and Power Grid and CG Power will have $49 and $47 million respectively. In terms of outflows, there will be Britannia with the highest outflow of around $153 million, followed by BPCL, which will be around $145 million, Bajaj Finance around $79 million, and Kotak Mahindra Bank with $78 million, and lastly NTPC with $72 million of outflow. So that's the data that Alex was referring to. Moving on to our next caller, Shailaja from Hyderabad is calling in. Shailaja, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Morning, Mahima. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking the call. I have 60 shares of Tata Motors at a price of 800. So is it good to average at this point, or else I have to wait for some more dip? And I want to know the estimated price to average this average.
Right. Okay. Got your query, Sharja. I'll take your query with Neerav. Neerav, I'll come to you with everything that's happening. Trump announcing tariffs for auto as well as auto anch players. What's your view with respect to the entire space as well as Sharja's queries on Tata Motors? The stock is down as much as almost 5% in trade right now. What's the view like and outlook like?
Yeah, I think the auto space generally has been doing quite well, but I think it's more the domestic centric players are likely to do better. And of course, players like Tata Motors, where there are a lot of moving parts, they are likely to come under pressure. Overall, I think we've seen today, because of the tariff related announcements, stocks like Tata Motors have come under pressure, and auto ancillaries like Bharat Forge, Sona BLW, Motherson Sumi, they have been under pressure. Plus, the tire makers like Balakrishna Industries, which have a high exposure to the overseas market, have also seen some pressure in the market. But otherwise, I think it's a positive. But in the case of Tata Motors, it is advisable to wait for the next quarterly results and then take a call whether to average or not.
Right. Let me get a technical check on Tata Motors as well, because this morning, Kush, the reason I want to come to you on this is that we got a contra call, and the view was that if it falls to 675 or below, one can initiate at that level for the long term, because the prospects look good on a 3 to 4 month time frame. Do you concur, and would you say that you can buy now?
Alex, I'm not sure whether 3 to 4 months really constitutes as long term because we
No,
said
no, not long term.
You,
No, I wasn't talking about long term. I was talking about
okay.
yeah.
I think I heard both the words, both the phrases in the sentence where long term and 3 to 4 months. But no, irrespective of that, I think the risk reward ratio is favorable. Not sure about a 3 to 4 month view or kind of move here. But yes, if you have a 12 to 18 month kind of a view, then no, as we've discussed time and again, Tata Motors 600 is a very long term. The last time around 2015 was when it tested that high, retested it, about 8 years later. So from that perspective, it's very close to these long term support zones. So yes, if you have a view of 12 to 18 months or beyond, this would be a good time to buy a big stock like Tata Motors. From a very near-term perspective, a month, maybe even a quarter, I'm not sure. There could be these pressures, ongoing pressures, and continued news that keep coming in, which most of them haven't really been positive. While the stock is trying to break out, every time there is something that comes about, and it just gives way. So yes, if the view is a year or more, then this is a good time to buy or perhaps even accumulate Tata Motors. From a quarter, perhaps two perspective, not sure.
Very quickly, stop loss in this trade.
600, just a little below that. So maybe about 590 thereabouts is where you can place that stop loss.
Got it. All right. Murli is calling us from Bengaluru. Hi, Murli. Good morning. And Hitachi Energy is a counter that you want to know about, right?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I bought the 25 shares of Hitachi Energy at 12,948.
Okay.
And it is trading around 12,000 now.
Yes.
But when I made a study, it appears they are trying to, though it's a very IP company and being an MNC, they are trying to triple the profit in the next 2 years and 50% growth, 30% growth in turnover for the next 2 years. And seems to be being a power transmission and power thing with a scorching summer. Seems to be all said, though it's an high PE. What is your advice? Should I hold for 2 years or add or average now or keep holding?
It's a good question. All right. Let me go across to Nirav on this one. Nirav, on the fundamentals, it goes without saying, right? This is a company with a very large order book. So there's no question about that. It's about execution. It's about profitability going forward. So what would you track in? Would you find the valuations attractive as they stand right now to add more?
Well, yes, as far as the sector is concerned, as far as the fundamentals are concerned, this is a screening buy and it's a hold, and you can average it also at the current levels. We have a very strong order book, we have a very strong promoter, we have a very strong patented technology, which is HVDC technology. And the company has done a QIP also recently. They are doing an expansion. 1,500 crores has already been put in the expansion to create more facilities to increase the production in the near future. So I think there are no two doubts about it that it's a buy at this point of time.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Hitachi Energy. The next question is from Ajit, who is writing in from Oman. He is holding 500 shares of Tata Tech, bought at 1156 a piece, and he wants a long-term view on this. Nirav, I'll come to you again for this particular counter. What's the view like for Tata Tech?
Well, I think in the near term, I think we've seen disappointments. I think the results have been lackluster, and I think it would be better to switch to some other better names which are there in this particular space. So I think we would advise to switch to some better alternatives like a Coforge or Persistent Systems instead.
Okay, so that's the view with respect to Tata Tech, and he prefers Coforge over Tata Tech is the view coming in from Nirav. All right, our next caller, Rama from Andhra Pradesh, is calling in. Rama, a very good morning to you. How can we help you? Okay, I think we have lost him, but we have his query. We have his query on WhatsApp as well. He's asking, so he basically is holding 91 shares of Tech Mahindra at 1480 a piece, and he wants to know whether he should hold or sell. What's the view like on the charts, Kush, for Tech Mahindra?
Well, for now he could hold, and the reason for that is that we all know the entire IT pack and the Tech Mahindra included have actually been hit quite a bit. But then there is this revival underway, and the volumes on the way down seem to be thinning, which is a healthy sign. And the days when the stock has ended higher, you've seen high delivery markup and high volume as well. So all in all, I think this is a hold. 1380, the recent low, that is your stop loss. On the way up, you're looking at the first target of 1480, which incidentally happens to be his buying price. But once that is taken out, the stock could very well head to the 1550 zone as well. So my suggestion would be hold, and the recent low of 1380 should act as your stop loss.
Okay. All right, so that's the view on Tech Mahindra, and the IT pack, of course, has been in focus in the recent past because of potential FII buying. Let's talk about, oh, there you go. So, and Wipro doing well on the back of that order win that it announced, 500 million, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly, but yes, there was an order win that they announced. Siemens is the name of the counter we're talking about next, and Shanta is writing in from Dubai, and he's asking whether this is a good opportunity to buy for a period of 2 years. He's thinking of picking up 10 shares, and this is on the proposed demerger and other updates. Nirav, any view here?
Well, yes, I think just like Hitachi Energy, Siemens would also be qualify as a buy. And this demerger exercise only increases the focus as far as the businesses are concerned, and very, very strong technology and technology backbone. So I think strong pricing power also indicated for the company. So it's a buy.
Okay, so it's a buy coming in for Siemens. The next counter that we're talking about is are the two airline listed stocks. Satyan wants an outlook on both, that is SpiceJet and Indigo. So he wants to know which one is a better bet right now in these markets, and considering the outlook and the operational metrics as well. Nirav, I'll stick with you again for this one because it's from a longer term perspective. Which one do you like? Is it Interglobe or SpiceJet?
Yes, I think it's Interglobe, definitely, considering the scale of operations and considering the fact that they have very aggressive expansion plans. And SpiceJet can be seen as a turnaround candidate, so one can have a limited exposure over there also. Overall, the aviation space is looking positive.
Okay, aviation space is looking positive. Interglobe is a pick though, and watch out for that stock. It is controlling 2/3 of the domestic market, so certainly the market leader by far and away. Let's talk about Canara Bank and talk about where it's heading right now, because we've got a question. I am not sure by whom. I'm going to try and pull up that name. Jeevan wants to know about this. He has bought it at levels of 99.89, so slightly above the current market price. What are the prospects on the charts? It's up and about in trade today though. Kush, would you hold on to this?
Well, for maybe a quarter or maybe slightly longer kind of a time frame, yes, I would hold on to it. The momentum seems to be missing, and what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is more of a short covering rally in the entire PSU pack. The ones that have been doing well in the banking space have been the leaders. HDFC, ICICI, Kotak to some degree, and even SBI, to a degree. But below that, most of these stocks haven't really participated in the rally. It's more of a short covering bounce. However, that could still continue. And if the FII's buying trend, is here to stay, then yes, the rest of the pack could also see some sort of an up move. For Canara Bank specifically, the 20-day moving average comes in at 84. I would place my stop loss just under that, perhaps at the 83 mark. On the way up, the stock could see levels of 94 as the first target. And once that is taken out, you're looking at 103 kind of an up move. So yes, it's a hold for now. Momentum seems to be missing. So have your stop loss in place at the 83 mark very firmly.
Okay, so hold is the view coming in on Canara Bank from Kush. We have our next caller. Indrapal Singh is calling in from Visakhapatnam. A very good morning to you, Indrapal. How can we help you? Hi, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost the caller, but his question is on National Fertilizer. He's holding 870 shares bought at 131 a piece. Nirav, I'll come to you on this one. What's the view like for National Fertilizer, if you have the view?
Yes, actually, I think this is likely to be a slow mover. So I think it's better to shift to some other better alternatives like a Paradeep Phosphate.
Like a?
Paradeep Phosphate.
Paradeep Phosphates. Okay, yes. All right. So that's a view on the fertilizer space. Paradeep Phosphates is Nirav's pick. Indrapal, hopefully you heard that. Unfortunately, we couldn't speak to you. I wish that we could. We've got a question on PC Jewelers, and this is a question from Vinay, and he's bought at levels of 17 rupees. The stock is currently trading at 12.8. He's looking for a long-term view. Kush, on the charts, what's the prospects?
Not very encouraging. Again, here too, you've seen a congestion of the 20 and the 200-day moving average around the 13 mark, playing up. And, after a brief bit of, recovery attempt, the stock's actually given way. Also, if you see the volumes on the last, 3 to 4 sessions when the stock's been down, actually the volumes have picked up. So I wouldn't really hold on to this one especially from a long-term, perspective. The stock might just go into a time consolidation. So for me, PC jewelry is an exit at current levels.
All right, so that's the view with regards to PC Jewelers. The next counter that we're talking about is Tina Rubber. Rudra from Vadodara wants to know if it's a good time to enter, and I don't know whether it's he or a she, but they've done their overall study perfectly, because they're saying that they're expanding internationally, and should I wait for more correction or enter right now is the question. Kush, I'll stick with you. Do you think the charts are attractive enough to enter Tina Rubber right now?
Yes, they are. In fact, we've seen positive divergences across time frames, especially the weekly ones, and also the fact that the 900 level has acted as a good support zone on a weekly closing basis for this stock. As I said, the positive divergences are also there. So yes, it's got some of these technical factors going for it. Since the view is long term, I would suggest a stop loss around the 900 mark. And on the way up, you could well look at targets of 1200, and once that is taken out, the 1375 as well. So after the kind of fall that it's seen over the last year or so, this looks like a good positional bet to enter into. And just one caveat is that I think this stock usually has a low volume, but if that's really not a concern, then yes, you could go ahead and buy. If the quantity is going to be huge, then yeah, you might want to stagger your buying before you make a big position. So that's the only caveat.
I did not know that Rudra could be both male and female. I always thought that Rudra was a male name.
I know a person who
maybe
is
Rudra
female.
Maybe Rudra can clarify that for
call
us
and
on chat.
clarify,
Or call us, yeah. We have to slip into a very quick break. We've got more on the other side, so do stay tuned.
A big proponent of value investing principles. But what is Govind Parikh's secret to market mastery?
Asset you have, at the end of the day, it's a paper asset. So you should know exactly to encash sometimes. The Harshad Mehta's time, we coined that thing and we put it on in our office notice board. Sell regret and grow rich. Because the way the market was going up, every day you sell, next day you regret.
Do you think the next 10, 15, 20 years are very promising?
I'm very, very optimistic. I think markets can correct, but at a low level, everybody is going to come and buy.
This is an investment wisdom you cannot afford to miss. Watch it only on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. He sold most of his stock, 80%, as on that date.
We have requested the management to come and speak to us. They asked us, what questions will you ask? We've sent it to them. They don't want to answer it, so then let's put it to our viewers as well.
7 key questions, right? How is it that 2,000 crore goes unnoticed by all of these auditors?
Is seeking more information on the trades and the all the transaction which has happened from the exchanges, both NSE and BSE.
The Reserve Bank of India's supervisory officers, they are seeking compliance reports on their foreign currency borrowings by these banks.
The DSS is actively engaging with the Reserve Bank of India to sort of ensure the thorough examination of the matter. And
IndusInd Bank, as part of its internal review, had found that certain aspects of its derivatives portfolio was not meeting the standard that was set by the Reserve Bank of India.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
He sold most of his stock, 80%, as on that date.
We have requested the management to come and speak to us. They asked us, what questions will you ask? We've sent it to them. They don't want to answer it, so then
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit, and I'm sure that a lot of you have already watched Know Your Company. It's a show that comes up just next at 11:30, and I'm sure that a lot of you have benefited from the companies that have been discussed there as well, because as investors, long-term investors, it's always beneficial to understand what your company does and what it's about, what the prospects are. On that note, I'd like to get Harshin, who's the anchor of that show, to tell you about what is on the cards today, because it's a special episode that you've lined up. You've already recorded it for once. It's not live, but it is something that you have gone out to do. Which is the company and what is this about?
Well, Alex, the thought was that the Nifty Realty Index is one of the biggest losers, over the last 4 months or so. What's happening in realty was essentially the thought that we had. And Mumbai-based realtor Arkade Developers recently listed, and therefore an interesting chat with them to try and understand how the market is doing and how the company in particular in terms of prospects is looking. And therefore this is what we've done.
And you went to Bhandup, right?
Yes, to their site Arkade Rare. They launched this 3 months or so back, so it's not too long back that they've launched it. I must say I was quite impressed with the way in which development was happening there in terms of progress. They are looking to deliver by Q3 FY27. The official timeline is, of course, Q4 FY27.
And you've spoken about demand trends in Mumbai and inventory levels and all of that, I'm sure.
Correct, and pricing. Yes.
Great, all right. So a lot to look forward to that in that chat. Thanks so much, Harsh, for joining in and for giving us that perspective. Watch out for that. KYC, Know Your Company. In case you can't watch it live, then do catch it on YouTube. You'll find all of the other episodes there as well. I'd invite you to check it out. We've got our next caller from Tamil Nadu. George is calling us and he wants to know about Ircon. Hi George, good morning. How can we help you today?
Yeah, good morning Alex. How are you?
Very well. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have 200 shares of Ircon.
Okay.
Bought at the rate of 278.
Okay.
Shall I accumulate now? Because now it has gone to 160 level.
And do you have a long-term view on this, George?
Yeah, long-term view, 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. All right. So, Nirav, Ircon International, would you buy more at this level, accumulate, and what are the prospects for 2 years?
Well, I think we had a very strong view on Ircon, but I think the stock has disappointed in terms of results, in terms of margins, and I think it's better to exit the counter and go in for better alternatives in the railway space itself. Now, these could be the likes of RITES or RailTel. These could offer better opportunities going forward.
All right, so that's the view coming in on. All right, the next Ircon, and the next counter that we're talking about is Suraj Estate Developers. Aniket from Karnataka is wanting to know as to what will be the best enterprise for this particular counter. Kush, on the charts?
I might suggest a wait on this one. The reason being that the stock had actually had a very good run up, but it's given all of that up very close to the listing price, and even now, if you see, the momentum indicators aren't really indicating any kind of an upswing. The move that you saw recently was more of a short covering bounce from oversold territories. While there is a positive divergence, it's failing to sustain. So I will wait it out. If at all he wants to consider an entry, I think he should look at the 275 to 280 zone as as a zone to enter from where the stock has rebounded recently. And in that case, his stop loss will be 245. And on the upside, he could then look at targets of 325. And once that is taken out, 360 as well. So closer to the 270, 280 zone is perhaps where he should consider buying. But again, very strict stop loss near the 240, 245 mark.
Right, so that's the view with respect to Suraj Estate, and we have our next caller. Suresh from Hyderabad is calling in and to ask about another real estate player, that is Brigade Enterprises. Suresh, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Yeah, hi. I'm holding Brigade Enterprises shares around 50 shares at 980 rupees. Okay. So I can hold it for 1 year target. I can only hold it for 1 year. Can I add more in this level, or should I hold it?
Okay, got your query. Nirav, I'll come to you. Your view on the entire real estate space, as well as what's the outlook for Brigade Enterprises?
Well, I think the real estate scenario continues to be quite positive. It's in a positive state at this point of time. And I think as far as we are concerned, we like to stay with the prominent names like Godrej Realty, Aditya Birla Real Estate, the likes of DLF, etc. But I think Brigade is also a good bet, and he can hold it from a long-term point of view.
Okay, hold is the view for the long term on Brigade. All right. Olectra Green Tech is the name of the counter we're talking about next. And I believe Sai Kiran wants to know about this. Can he expect the company to grow well? Because he has doubts about the order book targets, etc. Can he add more for a period of 3 to 4 years? He's in the green right now, but he's wondering whether to hold on. Nirav, on the fundamentals?
Well, I think there's nothing really wrong with the prospects. I think because they are into the electrical vehicle space, green vehicles. So I think should not be a problem, and he can hold it from a medium to long-term perspective.
Okay, all right. Hold from a medium-term perspective is the view on Olectra Green Tech. Let's get our next caller in. We've got Anvesh calling us from Andhra Pradesh. Anvesh, hi, good morning. Hope you're well. What do you want to know about?
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah. Hi, good morning. Yeah, my name is Anvesh. I'm from Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
So I had IndusInd shares, brought it at 1150.
Okay.
At 85. 85 shares I brought it at 1150.
Okay.
But due to the drastic down of 30% one day, and now I don't think so there is a scope upside. So if I want to exit, at what level can I exit, or it is the right time to buy more?
Okay, 85 shares. Can you clarify a couple of things for me, Anvesh? Do you have other shares that you bought in the financial space?
Yeah, along with this I have LTI Mindtree, TCS. and Axis Bank.
Axis Bank as well. All right. So then I'm going to ask Kush this question. Kush, he's already seen quite a bit of capital erosion, but thankfully he's kind of diversified his portfolio. He's got a couple of IT names. He's got a banking name, Axis Bank, Frontline Bank. Would you suggest that he book losses? He's still about 3 days away. I do not know if this is capital loss or capital, as in short-term capital loss or long-term. Actually, let me clarify that. Anvesh, is this a long-term, as in have you been holding for more than a year?
Yeah, I want to be at 1 year.
No. When did you buy this? Did you buy it more than a year back?
It is around last year, October, November.
October, November last year. Okay, so it's a short-term loss that you would incur. Kush, booking short-term loss and moving to something else, does that make sense?
Well, very strictly speaking, yes. I mean, if you were to ask me, should I buy IndusInd Bank even now, my answer would be no. The idea is to exit this one. Now, the reason, there's a slight hitch, in my voice is because he's already incurring quite a bit of loss and the stock is in oversold territories. So if at all he is looking to minimize, his loss, what he could do is he could hold it for some more time with a stop loss around the 620 mark. That's where the stock made its low and it's attempting to find its feet, in the recent rally. Now, while, I don't see a V-shaped recovery, I don't want to give him a hope that, of course, he'll perhaps in the next year, maybe lesser time frame, end up in a profit. What I mean to say is that there could be, some more rebound coming, his way where the stock could reduce the losses that he's incurring at the moment. So the levels of 700, perhaps even 745 thereabouts, is where he could start exiting gradually. So just to give him that extra chance of reducing his losses, my suggestion would be to hold with a stop loss around the 625 mark. And Axis Bank, the stock that he's been holding, has actually gained quite a bit of ground. So if he wants to shift, it will not be a bad idea to shift to something like an Axis Bank, perhaps even an SBI.
Right, shift to an Axis Bank or an SBI is the view coming in from Kush, where charts are concerned. Moving on to the next query, Sagar from Silvassa is holding 50 shares of NHPC bought at 99 a piece, and he wants to know whether he can average out for a longer term. Nirav, I'll come to you. What's the view like for NHPC?
The view is positive, but I think I wouldn't advise averaging at this point of time. It's better to wait, see the quarterly results and then take a call.
Okay, all right. So that's a view on NHPC. So we've got a next question on HUL, I believe, and Venkatesh is calling us. Hi, Venkatesh. Good morning. And how can we help you today?
Hi, good morning.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I bought HUL at 2950, 70 shares. So should I average or should I hold or sell? My view is for next 1 to 2 years.
Okay. Interesting development today. It's a company that you track, Mahima. There was a leadership change that was announced.
Right. So Rajneet Kohli, who will join, in fact, from 7th of April as Executive Director of HUL's food business, and he was formerly CEO of Britannia, who left Britannia 1 month ago and now joined HUL, and he'll succeed Shiva Krishnamurthy in the food division business. So that's the leadership change that has happened in HUL today. But since Venkatesh is ready to hold the counter for next 1 or 2 years, I'll take a longer term view on this particular counter. Neera, what's the view like? Inflationary pressure, of course, continues on the counter, and with a lot of developments taking place with respect to the ice cream business as well, what's the long term outlook like?
Well, I think the FMCG businesses have been struggling. I think the volume growth has been lacking. And on and off, we tend to see a lot of pressures like input pricing pressure. Recently, we've seen the palm oil prices go up. We've seen the competitive intensity being quite high. We have the local regional players who are giving a tough competition. And I think overall, the space is looking under some sort of pressure. We are seeing the urban consumption has also been impacted. So I think it's better to shift out of this and go in for some other sector, maybe a hotel sector. A good pick in a hotel sector would give better growth prospects at this point of time.
So which one in the hotel sector?
This could be the likes of an ITC hotels or an Indian hotels. I think these could be better prospects.
Okay, all right. So shift to the hotel space, which, by the way, is seeing quite a lot of action in the recent past and several to choose from. So he's given you the recommendation for Indian hotels or ITC hotels. I think we've got our first message and our first question from Africa today. So it's a momentous occasion for us. We've got Rajendra Reddy, who's writing in from Tanzania, which is on the eastern coast, as you know, of Africa, and a place I would love to visit. Maybe I'll take some tips from you, Rajendra, later. But you've got a question on exchanging solutions, which you would not want to know about, and you've got the price is 118, the buy quantity is 400. You're asking whether to average it and to hold for the long term. You purchase it from the perspective of dividend yield. I'm not very familiar with the dividend payouts. I haven't gone to the details, but any view on this one, Nirav, on the fundamentals, on the long term?
Well, I think while the dividend yield may be attractive, but I think it's very important to see what the growth prospects are all about. So if there is growth, then definitely we will see that reflecting in the market cap or in the prices. So I think it will be very important to see the annual results and the commentary from the company before taking any decision with respect to the stock.
Okay, and interestingly, till FY24 there was no dividend payout for the counter, but FY24 they declared a dividend of over 1500%, which is why probably the stock has attracted attention and probably why Rajendra has bought it. So keep that in mind, because till FY24 the management had not declared any dividend payment, so it might be possible that going forward also this might change. So keeping that in mind, you should take the call. Moving on to our next caller, Amrita is calling in from Kolkata. Very good morning to you, Amrita. How can we help you?
Very good morning.
Good morning.
I have a share of 300 share.
Okay.
Gujarat Pipavav Port Limited.
Okay.
I purchased it at the rate of 183.
Okay.
Current rate is below 144, so I am incurring a loss of 11,850. But the basic of the share is very good. What I should do?
And you want to hold this from a longer term perspective, right?
Right.
Okay, Nirav, I'll take this question up with you. Gujarat Pipavav is the counter. What's the view like?
I think all the port-related stocks are buys because there are huge entry barriers in this business, and of course, a very strong cash flows once the execution is there in place. So I think he can average Gujarat Pipavav Port at this point of time, and also consider maybe other stocks like JSW Infra and Adani Ports.
Did you say Adani Ports as well?
Yes,
okay.
I did mention all the three names. That is Gujarat Pipavav Port Limited, JSW Infra, and Adani Ports and Real Estate.
Okay, all right. So all the ports, and ports looking attractive is the view from Nirav on the fundamentals. We didn't mention Adani Ports right now, so therefore the standard disclaimer, NDTV Profit is part of the NDTV Group, which is owned by the Adani Group. All right, Nidhi is writing in right now, and she's got a question on IRB Infra, which she's bought at levels of 67 rupees per share. She's got 700 shares, and she's looking for the prospects for the next 3 months. So not a very long-term outlook is being sought. Kush, on the charts, what are the levels that you would watch for on the upside, and what stop loss would you give?
So firstly, it's a hold. The stock has actually seen quite a beating, but it's attempting to find feet. 42.5. That's where I would place my stop loss. On the way up, you're looking at targets of 49. As the first level, and once that is taken out, perhaps even a 53. So those are the levels that you should look at on the upside. Around those levels, the stock could see some resistance. So I would prefer to exit somewhere around those levels.
All right. So we've got the next caller from Visakhapatnam. Ashok is calling us. And the question, I believe, Ashok, is on Motilal Oswal. Is that right?
Yes.
Good morning. And what do you want to know?
So yesterday I bought a Motilal Oswal at 625.
Okay.
At 625, around 100 shares I bought it. I have been observing the charts and looking at the technicals. It's looking good. Can I hold it for 1 or 2 years time? Can I expect the previous price, which is around 1,000 rupees, and can I add more? And what is the outlook of this sector, like Motilal Oswal or UPI MC? these AMC sectors?
It's a good question. All right. So, Nirav, on the fundamentals, I think a lot of these wealth management or rather mutual fund asset management companies did take a little bit of a hit as the markets wobbled, right? And I'm calling it a wobble, but it was maybe more than just a wobble. Would you buy in right now? What's the prospect?
Well, it's been a roller coaster ride in the recent past, but I think the prospects look good and very strong management, very strong execution, and very good prospects. So I think can hold as well as average at the current levels.
Okay, average at the current levels is the view coming in on Motilal Oswal. The next query is from Srinivas, who's from Hyderabad. He's holding Piramal Pharma 400 shares at 224 apiece, and he wants to know as to what the charts are looking like for the counter. Kush, Piramal Pharma, what are the charts saying?
Not bad at all. It's had a good run on the back of good volumes. It's finding support near the convergence of the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So for me, this is a very clear hold. If you want a positional stop loss, then 200, 205, that's a good zone. So perhaps you could take the lower end of the band, which is 200 as your stop loss. Continue to hold this one. Some consolidation in the last 2-3 sessions, but that's still a healthy sign. On the way up, I'm looking at targets of 240. And once that is taken out, you're looking at a level of 255 as well on the upside. So all in all, the stock looks to be on a good footing. A stop loss near the 200 mark and continue to hold.
Okay, our next caller, Jagdish from Bengaluru, is calling in. Jagdish, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Good morning. Actually, I have NMDC shares.
Okay.
I purchased it at around 71 rupees.
Okay.
I have around 55,000 shares.
Okay.
What do I do next?
Okay, 55,000 is a huge quantity, Jagdish, and you bought this from a longer term perspective?
Yes, I purchased it in a longer term perspective.
Okay, and what was the idea behind buying NMDC specifically?
Yeah, I purchased it before the stock got split.
Okay.
And obviously, you know, they are the largest iron ore manufacturers in India.
Okay.
And I wanted to invest in one of the Navratna companies, so that was the reason I purchased NMDC.
Okay, got your point. So you've done your research very well. Nirav, I'll come to you. NMDC, what's the view like?
Well, I think definitely from a long-term view, it is quite positive because it's a most critical ingredient for making steel. And we know that the demand for steel is quite robust in the country. So going forward, I think definitely we have strong prospects. So it's a hold.
It's hold. All right. Jagdish, I hope that answers your question. If you're still on, I'm just curious. Yes. Have you taken a very aggressive stance on NMDC? Is this a very substantial portion of your portfolio?
No, yes, it's been a substantial portion of my portfolio, but I've been accumulating these shares from past, few months now. But yes, it's been a substantial, investment in my portfolio.
Is it more than half, less than half?
It's more than half.
Okay, so be cautious because just a 3 rupee drop in the share price has obviously led to quite a bit of a dent. So you might want to bear in mind that concentration risk is something that you should watch out for, right? Because if the prospects are good, it's excellent. Your portfolio will look absolutely fabulous. And according to Nirav, of course, the fundamentals look good. But do bear in mind, do consider the concentration risk.
Sure. Thank you for the advice.
Thanks so much, sir, for taking the time. We've got the next question on Bank of Baroda, and this is Prakash from Chennai, who is asking about this. He's bought at levels of 207 and looking for a medium to or short-term to medium-term target. And Kush, I'm coming to you on the charts. What's a view here?
So first up, I think that's a good entry point, that he's got for Bank of Baroda. This has been one of the rank underperformers in the PSU space and is now starting to find its feet. So kudos on that, entry point. First up, let's start with the stop loss. So stock has support around the 215 mark where the 50-day moving average also sits. On the way up, you're looking at a first target of 235. Once that is taken out, you're looking at 245, 250 zone as well. So I would continue to hold on to this one. What I would also suggest is that, once the stock hits 235, rather than maybe booking a profit, you might want to trail your stop loss to your buying price and then continue to hold on. As I said, on the way up, keep your target, second target as 250 and start exiting, closer to that level.
Okay, guys, don't send us voice notes. We can't possibly listen to them right now. Okay, the point is that we have hit the portion of the show where we go into rapid fire. And Nirav and Kush, you know what this means. We will throw as many questions at you over the course of the next 2 minutes. The first one is on ZF Commercial. It was in the news because there's an update on certain technology that will be introduced to vehicles, and the stock was up and about. Santosh wants to know whether to buy for a period of 2 years. What's the view, Nirav?
Buy.
All right, GMR Airports is the next counter. Suresh from Hyderabad has 250 shares bought at 79 a piece. What's the view like from a longer term perspective, Nirav?
Hold.
Okay, Voltas bought at levels of 1,712. Should you hold or average at this point? Kush?
Don't average. Continue to hold with a stop loss around the 1375 mark.
All right, Titagarh, gold purchased at the price of 965 a piece. He wants a technical view. What are the supports and resistance like, Kush?
So the support for this one comes in at 760, and on the way up, you could be looking at targets of 850 and around 915 levels.
Okay, coming back to you on IRCTC, Raghavendra is asking about this. He's bought, or rather Raghu, has bought at levels of 550. Can he hold or exit?
You should continue to hold, but keep your stop losses or trailing stop losses in this case in place. 680 is the level that I would look at as a stop loss.
Okay, HL is the next counter. Venkat is holding 8,000 bought at levels from 3608. What's the view like from a longer term perspective, Nirav?
Hold.
Okay, clarification. Satyan wants to know, he's already holding Indigo, but he wants to know whether to buy SpiceJet. From that perspective, you want to amend your view, Nirav?
Buy.
Okay.
Okay, SBI Cards is the next counter. Arnab is holding 100 shares at 716 a piece. What's the long-term outlook like, Nirav?
Buy.
Okay, Adani Green bought at levels of 1,052. Should you continue to hold or sell, Nirav?
Hold.
Hold. All right. Well, okay, we have time for one more, actually. Not really. All right. My director has told me not really. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in, for answering all the questions that you did. It's been an absolute pleasure. All right. Obviously, you hear us speaking, but you don't hear what's happening behind the scenes. And my director is saying, wrap the show. And that means I have to say goodbye. So does Mahima. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
A big proponent of value investing principles. But what is Govind Parikh's secret to market mastery?
Asset you have, at the end of the day, it's a paper asset. So you should know exactly to encash sometimes. The Harshad Mehta's time, we coined that thing and we put it on in our office notice board. Sell regret and grow rich. Because the way the market was going up, every day you sell, next day you regret.
Do you think the next 10, 15, 20 years are very promising?
I'm very, very optimistic. I think markets can correct, but at a low level, everybody is going to come and buy.
This is an investment wisdom you cannot afford to miss. Watch it only on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. He sold most of his stock, 80%, as on that date.
We have requested the management to come and speak to us. They asked us, what questions will you ask? We've sent it to them. They don't want to answer it, so then let's put it to our viewers as well.
7 key questions, right? How is it that 2,000 crore goes unnoticed by all of these auditors?
Is seeking more information on the trades and the all the transaction which has happened from the exchanges, both NSE and BSE.
The Reserve Bank of India's supervisory officers, they are seeking compliance reports on their foreign currency borrowings by these banks.
The DSS is actively engaging with the Reserve Bank of India to sort of ensure the thorough examination of the matter. And
IndusInd Bank, as part of its internal review, had found that certain aspects of its derivatives portfolio was not meeting the standard that was set by the Reserve Bank of India.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
He sold most of his stock, 80%, as on that date.
We have requested the management to come and speak to us. They asked us, what questions will you ask? We've sent it to them. They don't want to answer it, so then let's put it to our viewers as well.
7 key questions, right? How is it that 2,000 crore goes unnoticed by all of these auditors?
Is seeking more information on the trades and the all the transaction which has happened from the exchanges, both NSE and BSE.
The Reserve Bank of India's supervisory officers, they are seeking compliance reports on their foreign currency borrowings by these banks.
The DS.
Hello and welcome to this very special edition of KYC, Know Your Company. In terms of why it's special, we're going to track and talk about Arkade Developers today. And we've gone to their site and we've spoken and gotten insights from the promoter himself with regard to how the business is doing, as well as what the expectations should be. So hopefully we're able to give you better insights on all fronts with regard to this business. Let's first start off with what Arkade does. It was established in 1986, established as a real estate developer and has slowly gone upscale. More premium housing is what they are at this point proud about. It's purely a Mumbai-based company, so they don't have projects outside of Mumbai. Also, in terms of it's focused on developing high-end, sophisticated lifestyle residential developments in Mumbai is what they are calling themselves. They have a strong track record for execution, and we've spoken with Amit Jain, who's a second generation in the business. So in that sense, he's a second generation developer, and we've spoken with him as